Check out your #1 digital outlet for music and news from hip hop to Hollywood. www.thehypemagazine.com.
Face Mob Hype Magazine is going down.
Yeah.
Hello, Cool J, Necessary Exposure, Hype Magazine. Peace.
Shout out to the Hype Magazine.
And we right here with the Hype Magazine. You already know what it is.
Hey, what's good, everybody? Welcome to another live session with the Hype Magazine. I'm your editor-in-chief, Jerry Doby. And today, I've got Navy vet, clinical therapist, executive producer, certified recording engineer, and songwriter, Sabaya Reyes. She is an amazing, amazing story. We touched bases earlier on, but we wanted to get a little deeper. And today we're going to focus because she's during, we don't get a chance to talk to the ladies who are behind the scenes, making everyone sound good, helping them guide their career and navigate the maze, especially within the entertainment industry, when things can be dangerous to yourself. You know what I mean? Economically, mentally. So really important to get an opportunity to talk to a woman. And she's following the footsteps of women in America for however many years we've been around. Women have been our backbone, whether we want to acknowledge it or not. And we're going to talk about it. Welcome, Bea.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
I
most definitely, shout out to the ladies, especially when it comes to, our roles and positions, our influence in the music business and on the consumer level, because to be completely honest, women are the tastemakers of the music industry, entertainment.
Hey, I remember buying records because the woman that I in my life liked it. I said, well, that's going to make her smile.
Right.
I'm going to win. Okay. I'm going to win. It's going to be peaceful.
That's right. That's right.
It's going to be peaceful. All right. So, we went into a little bit early on about the music industry and you being a clinical therapist, but I would like to know from the inside looking out how you see Sabaya Reyes.
Okay, so from the outside looking in.
No, from the inside looking out. I said it wrong.
Oh, from the inside looking out.
Yeah, you got to project.
Okay, so Sabaya Reyes is a free spirit whose creativity is and gifts are regulated by who she identifies as her creator, who's God. She has had her dreams come true about 3 times over. So she is in a space in her life where she is open to being used and sharing her gifts with others. She was raised by music because of a lot of the things that were happening in the household where her parents couldn't necessarily be present or emotionally available to her. And so her relationship with music is unique. And she has learned its medicine properties and is teaching independent artists how to access and monetize those things.
Okay. I like it. What was like the defining moment you brought your skills into the music realm?
Yeah, so at first I was just a tool. Back when I was a teenager, about 15, 16 years old, like I mentioned in the article, I was singing hooks and stuff for rappers, out in the Broward County, Dade County area, is where I'm from. And there wasn't much creativity for me there. But just to be used as a tool and be, exposed to so many different opportunities during that time was still pretty cool. Life happened. I had to pretty much put music on the back burner and, support my family. So I did end up joining the military for about 11 years. I needed stable income with little to no job history as a teenager, and the military definitely provided that for me and some. And so I discharged from the Navy back in 2016. Right after that, I ended up earning my master's degree in social work from the University of Southern California.
Go Trojans!
Fight on. So I am Trojan alumni. And, since then, I've, just met a bunch of people and things like that. I was so open in my journey as a healer professionally that I ended up getting triggered at work one day. At this point, I was a medical social worker. I had this young lady come in from Honduras. At this point, I was actually helping undocumented women get prenatal health care and to see an OB-GYN for free, under the grants from the state of Texas. I was working out in Houston, Texas. And this young lady, while at the doctor's office, found out that her husband had been unalived and tortured. And someone sent her a picture of his remains to confirm that, he was actually unalived. And all of this happened to her while at the doctor's office. So she was absolutely hysterical. I was able to calm her down and everything like that. But she showed me the picture that they showed her. And it took me about 6 months to realize that I was triggered. I had no idea. My experience with death in the military, I'm not a combat veteran at all. My experience was always tied to some moral injury where I'm the one that found somebody dead in their rack because they choked on their vomit because we partied too hard the night before. Or I walk in the shop to someone who had hung themselves because they were going through relationships problems, or someone jumps off the Coronado Bridge out in California right in front of me, things like that. And so anytime I ever tried to express myself, it was always watered down. Like, oh my God, girl, you're in the military. You're supposed to see dead bodies. It's no big deal. And it's something that I had suppressed and didn't realize it until that happened. So that experience really showed me that, one, I was nowhere near as in control of my life as I thought I was, because I had had an anxiety attack for the first time in my life. And it really made me kind of step back and see if I knew who I was, And since joining the military at the age of 18, for 11 years, I learned to be a role. I'd never learned how to be an individual. So I started just living my life with a clean slate, basically. My husband and I ended up separating, and I really dove into music as a consumer because I found myself what worked before I joined the military. When I went through things like this, what did I do? I ran to the music. And man, I found a lot of Band-Aids when I was looking for medicine. And it was a deprivation that I noticed that really just put some conviction in me to keep looking. And that was what my experience on the mainstream side. That's how I ended up finding the independent artist realm. And that was where I was able to find, okay, there are people out here that are providing music medicine. They aren't giving us just quick ways to survive in certain circumstances. They're helping us overcome things. They're sharing their healing work and all of these things. And that's what I, end up gravitating towards.
Okay. That's a lot.
I know.
Wow. But I could see how it would drive you into your safe space has always been music. So I could see how now you would get immersed in the nuances of the music community. And, you're working with R&B, hip hop, gospel hip hop, some other, probably anybody that could use great services will come to you. Not just urban, I'm imagining.
Right.
So I think that tells a story that across the board doesn't really matter what uniform you wear, as a human being. We have those issues. When you're an artist, it's a microcosm, and it's like, this is the world on steroids here I'm learning how to do business. I don't know what questions to even ask about the business. I'm lost. I'm getting beat. I'm pouring my heart out in this music, which means I'm really going through something. You know, the breakup songs, bro. Some of these breakup songs, I'm like, wow. You know.
Yes.
But in the age of babies raising babies, as clinical therapists,
come on.
They have fewer critical thinking skills. They don't know how to process the mind mapping that we were served as younger in our generation on how to think, how to resolve an issue, how to dissect it and come up with a solution. These kids are being protected. Don't talk to my baby like that. Or they can't, you know, you raise your voice, you're bullying. No, I'm getting in that ass because if I don't do it here to protect you and prepare you, the world is not so nice and they will take advantage of your weaknesses.
Most definitely.
People
are
you're needed. You're needed. So thank you for what you do and your awareness that how life affected you and what was going on with you was something, you know what? There are others like me, the creatives, who don't have anybody to talk to, doesn't have anyone to direct them and guide them and say, it's okay to feel this, but here's how I can, you know, maybe suggest you process it. So let's touch on that. As you're dealing with artists and creatives from around the world. As I see it, gospel hip hop artists are shunned by the mainstream and therefore they have their own lane, but starting to break out.
Most definitely.
So they have this identity crisis. I'm still a rapper. I just happen to believe in God. And then I'm a preacher's grandson, Baptist, Lord. And world music, you know, the style, not even the lyrics, but the style, they didn't want that mixed with gospel. They didn't want that mixed with Christianity, so to speak. The same things, if we go back to What's Love Got to Do with It, when Ike and Tina started playing their song in that bar, you know, what are you doing? That's gospel music. That's blasphemy. So you're dealing with all these things. So maybe segment it for us and tell us how you deal with each style of artist and maybe some of the unique issues as an executive producer who's also their mentor and their therapist. How do you but how do you help them?
So, I mean, most of my experience in executive production is in the gospel Christian hip hop genre. And so, you know, I am R&B. So I'm gonna just put that out there. Okay. I am R&B Cadillac type, not coming from the church R&B. So my perspective is very different. And I think it works really well with the Christian hip hop artists and the gospel artists that I work with, because when we write and we create together, I help them become a little more open with their concepts, right? I'm the type of person, I mean, my experience in the church anyway has shown me that that's where all the imperfect people go. I've never been the type of person to go to the church looking for people to be perfect and then freaking out when I realize that, you know, they're making mistakes too, you know, but that's my experience. And so anyway, I mean, I just believe that what it is that, you know, the Christian, you know, hip hop genre and the gospel genre, their mission is to touch the lives of people that don't know God the way that they do. So my approach with those artists and producers that I work with in those spaces is to keep the creative concept open to be, you know, interpreted however, you know what I mean? And just putting out good vibes, you know? And so it's beautiful because what it's done is definitely challenge the artists that I'm working with in their writing and, you know, things like that, and helping them to open themselves up to be a little more mainstream. Another challenge that I see in that space is just how congested it is. There's a lot of Christian hip hop artists, that work in, or live in the same regions. And then you see they all just put music out together, same people, same features, different song, different beat. And I think a lot of creativity gets lost there. So I like to, also bring my resources to the table and, put my little DJ Khaled cap on and bring, collaborations together that, people wouldn't have anticipated, and bring something fresh and fun to everybody's, audience. And then also, I'm not their therapist because I'm not allowed to have dual relationships with them, but I do bring therapeutic techniques, into my work and my approach in the collaborative process. And let's see, I will say that because of that, I think I have a great way of helping people identify their weaknesses and their strengths in a way where they don't feel insulted. Because I think that also one thing that really works against a lot of people that are working in that space, especially the rappers and lyricists and poets in Christian hip hop and R&B, gospel, is that because they're making music for the Lord, we kind of take it easy on them with the feedback. We're not really giving them technical feedback. We're not telling them, no, bro, you got to work on your cadences, or you've mastered this level. It's getting boring. Let's try something else. And you know what I mean? Like, no, you need to get some singing lessons, and things like that. So I bring that as well, to where I feel like one of my superpowers is building rapport with people in short periods of time, so that, yeah, we can go ahead and talk about those things so that we can make the best product possible. Okay.
Yeah, I must say, I'm friendly with MC Nice and Lecrae. Have covered them both, and Nice and I are friendly. One of the things that I, as a reviewer, and I don't make music, I did study music business just so I can understand what the heck I was talking about. But my doctorate is in communication.
Right. So
I look and I go, the hip hop artists, they use the same timbre, the same intonation, the same spacing. And I'm like, it is redundant. It is boring. I don't care that you're telling a real story. If it might as well be ASMR,
yeah.
Sleep, Jack, or I'm turning it off, or concentrate on the beat and missing the message. So that, concentrate on those nuances that you're telling them, hey, singing lessons, you got to enunciate, your timing, it's got to be, these things, technical things that they need. So that, people mix up, producer and executive producer, and, an active recording engineer is saying, well, let me show you how this sounds the way you want to do it.
Yes.
And here's what I'm suggesting to improve it.
Yeah.
So you're commingling on that. But for the technical people who want to know the difference between executive producer and producer, which you're kind of running, crossing the lines there. But
yes.
If we could just, give them the dictionary version.
Yeah. I mean, so basically, just to keep it simple, the producer is whoever is, I guess, bringing the project together, right? Now, I know a lot of people feel like producers are the ones that make the actual beat or compose the instruments and the music portion before the lyrics are applied. Those are music producers. But for people like me who, hear certain things and see certain things, because I also think and picture, knowing who to bring together and how to bring that together. My creative process can sometimes even start in the beat, where I am working with, wherever the drums are, we're picking the snares out together and all of those things. Or I can take a beat that a producer already made and it resonates with me, and I hear what it's trying to say, and I go out and find the right artist to tell the story. That is still producing. The executive producer is pretty much who is responsible for the management of the project. You know what I mean? The release dates, We're the executive producer is who's making the final decisions, at the end of the day. And we're putting the majority of the money up into, the promotion and the marketing, distribution, and what happens to the music after it leaves the studio. We are taking care of the splits. Who gets what, you're on the hook, you get 15% of this person made the beat, he gets 15%, distributing, publishing, and all of those things.
Oh my goodness.
So the executive side is more of the music business side, making sure that the project gets the best, chance possible to be heard by as many people as possible, and maintain, of course, maintaining the budget. And then the producer is actually in the creative process, bringing an idea to life in collaboration with others.
Okay. See, I've had people try to explain it before. I think we succeeded today. Thank you. It clear as a bell to me. And
Okay.
So I like it. And then, there are a lot of beat makers. I understand that technically they're producers, but they're beat makers because
Yeah.
they don't have the ability to sit down in a session and guide the artist on how to ride the track, how to maybe, instead of being on the one, hit on the two, which is where Black folks clap anyway. We're on the two, not the 1, 2, 3, 4. We on.
Well, I will say, I think some of the best beat makers are the ones that don't even think about that.
Really?
Yes, it's a different part. It's a different gift.
Okay.
My brother, by the way, I have a brother who is a beat maker, and he lives with an intellectual disability. So expressing his feelings or even articulating his thoughts, sometimes he can get a lot of anxiety with it and frustration, especially if he tries and the person doesn't get it. And he has learned to do that through sounds and putting them together in music and things like that. And that is how I became Bea Beat Messenger anyway, is because it's my brother. I have an intimate relationship with him and how his mind works. And, listening, I know when he's writing something because he's happy or he's frustrated or whatever the case is. And I can come up with a hook or something like that to go along with it and find a rapper. And that's how it goes. But they're just different gifts. I find that, in my experience with working with people, it works a lot better when everybody can just do what they're good at, and a lot of the times, yes, the beat makers, for me, like I said, I feel like the best of them are the ones that just do them, that just create, you know what I mean? And then we'll take it and turn it into
said
a song.
it best.
Yeah.
Luda said it best.
Okay. Okay.
You heard me? Because I can see that people have great ideas and have a great start and maybe don't know how to polish and flesh it out.
Right.
And there you are, getting all the meat out, the juice out the meat.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm gonna wring this rag for you. I got
That's
you.
right.
You know
That's
what I mean?
right.
Do people still use rags or they on loofahs? Sidebar, doesn't matter. Anyway,
Right.
but there's some, like, I was listening to something on what was I at? On Instagram, and I didn't know this, and maybe you could expand on it from your experience. There is a sonic level and tone that is called a divine sound.
I heard there was a young man that was singing it. It's been going crazy.
Made me cry.
Yeah, it's supposed to, his frequency is supposed to be like angels are supposed to sing at that frequency. It's insane.
He's a child.
He's a baby, yeah.
And I'm going, there's no way this kid just did this to me. I was mad. I'm like, I hung out with tough guys all my life, like professional tough guys.
Mhm.
And so we weren't in tune. I could tell you what caliber was coming down range. I can tell you that.
Yeah.
I can tell you what kind of chopper was heading overhead or what kind of airplane, but there's no way I understood that there was this divine level of sound until I heard, look, it was chills it hit me like in my shoulders and then just waves. I'm like, oh, I can't listen to him no more.
Yeah.
That was scary, terrifying.
I think I had that same response, that same physiological response. It was extremely uncomfortable. And yeah, that's also a realm of music that I'm looking to, you know, become a little more proficient in, because that is a whole nother, it's a whole nother lane. My relationship with that side of music is pretty basic. I will say that as of right now, I've been relying on my, you know, natural gifts and basic understanding of music theory, and just applying music therapy techniques to help personify emotion. You know what I mean? By the use of vocals and certain chords. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely, sound healing is a thing, you know. If anybody's interested in just, you know, how that would sound in the hip hop R&B space, Jhené Aiko is great example of an artist who applies sound healing into her music, and I think she does it so beautifully. But yeah, it's definitely something that is going to take some time to educate yourself on.
Okay, so not only are you like a musical therapist, when you're handing, no, I didn't mean to be, I wasn't trying to be flip or anything like that.
No. Musical therapists are an actual like board certified profession. I'm a clinical therapist and I use music therapy techniques.
Music therapy techniques.
Yes, that's a whole nother degree program, honey, and I'm done with that. So I like to apply their research.
I'll help you write your dissertation. We'll come up with your defense. You can go wow the board and get that thing. Go get that.
Okay, well, we'll see what God says.
Hey, whatever, you know, I'm with whatever you want to do. I ain't trying to force nothing. I just think that in the scientific community, it would be appreciated. I think that would make such a great scientific journal entry and paper that, you know, and let them peer review that and see how deep they are, y'all. I'm just saying, they're always talking on the surface, but they're not getting inside of the artist. They're not getting inside of the receiver. You know, hype stands for how you perceive everything. That's what and so we got to look at how the receiver is digesting and absorbing the message and the sounds that are coming. If you have some knucklehead who says, go shoot, kill, you got kids, they're receiving that. You're meeting them where they are. Don't we need to bring them into a different level and mindset? And can't music be that tool, that resource that helps elevate? Just a question.
I mean, no, I totally agree with that. I do. I do think that we as creatives have a responsibility to the space, whether it's R&B, hip hop, country, what have you. If you are monetizing your gift and, you know, you are relying on the support of your audience to pay your bills, I think you do owe them, you know, some form of healing, you know, some, as you know, inspiration, and not just, you know, I'm not going to say trash, but, you know, not just, we don't want to help people hurt themselves is what I'm saying.
Exactly.
That's, yes, for sure. But I also, you know, think that, you know, it is important too that we, you know, start empowering our listeners. And I would say that is definitely something that I take pride in the music that I produce, is, you know, empowering the listener, because I mean, essentially we can't rely, and that's what I learned in my own experience, is like, yes, I was raised by music, you know, but thank God for lived experiences too. You know what I mean? Relying on music to shape who I am completely can be very dangerous when you have people that are using it as art and throwing their trash, you know, or purging out there rather. And then they live their best lives and the best version of themselves. But this is what we're left with, you know?
Detritus.
Right. It's kind of like our favorite, you know, singers or female rappers that are rapping about how men ain't shit and all this other stuff, but they're happily married. You know what I mean? So we get that version, but we're not really seeing what happens after the wedding unless we see it on social media. So things like that, more medicine, less Band-Aids.
Yeah. I really love the way Remy Ma supports Papoose. You know, that to me in the entertainment industry, that's an amazing and a powerful musical couple.
Oh my God.
You know, they're the hip hop peaches and herb.
I don't even know if my husband would wait for me 2 years if I went to jail. Okay.
Yeah.
This man waited 8 years for her and supported her, raised their kids, held down the household, had a plan together. When she got out, it was them against the world again. And yeah, I would say that most definitely they are a huge inspiration.
A huge inspiration. I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
This is unique. I got an opportunity to speak with him a while back, and
oh, I saw that.
you saw it? Oh,
Ooh.
well, wait till you see the issue, because he's on the cover.
Okay.
Yeah, so we've elevated that just a little bit editorially, and I just think, you know, the story was amazing. Get an opportunity to talk to him, and I try not to delve into people's family business,
right?
So I just compliment them as a married man of 20 years, whose wife has, she's been through it with me, and you know, for 2 years I'm in the hospital getting cut on like a Christmas turkey, and that woman held me down. I didn't have the issues, you know, that the young men and young ladies sometimes also, when we were deployed wherever, you know, the rent's not being paid, all your money is gone.
Yes.
You know, you're making $7,000-8,000 a month because you got combat pay and all that good stuff, and the other person is just abusing that. And you know, we deal with things, and I feel that musicians, creatives, you know, in that space also suffer through some of those things. They don't understand, you know, we're getting off subject, but loyalty, you know, because the people around them are making money from them. And as long as they're having money made off of them, those people stay around.
Absolutely.
You know, Wesley Snipes had to go to Africa because he messed up his taxes. When he came back, you know, the person who reached out to him wasn't even from his own uniform. It was Sylvester Stallone.
Yeah.
Loyalty. Anyway, do you have a special technique, since we're talking about music therapy techniques, and I understand that you've clarified that you can't be their therapist, but when you're talking about creating music that addresses underlying emotions and inspires self-reflection, can you maybe walk me through, without putting anybody on blast, but maybe, you know, give me a small case study of how you would do that and take someone from, you know, 0 to 35.
Take someone to 0 to 35.
60
okay. Okay, so I think what you're asking me is how I would create a song with someone.
You know, when you're talking about creating a song that addresses the, you know, deals with the underlying emotions and makes people, the listeners, reflect, and the artists maybe reflect.
Yes.
And maybe say something differently than they would normally say it in their normal situation.
Okay. All right. So there's a song that we're working on right now. Shout out to Kyle Blaze out in Atlanta. He's a Christian hip hop artist, originally from Chicago and also Navy veteran.
Okay.
He and I are working on a song called You Should Go. And I'm executive producing the song. And the creative concept of the song is to pretty much emulate Jesus being in the desert and being tempted by the devil after his 40-day fast, right? And how, you know, every proposition that was given to him by the devil, he rejected by what he knew that God had already told him. And so we wanted to basically make a blueprint in how Christian men should resist temptation or fight temptation using biblical principles, right? Now we're going to do this without necessarily using specific Bible verses. We're going to do this without necessarily mentioning, God. We're going to keep the creative process open. And so, okay, like I said, this was a back and forth conversation in the Bible. So it's going to be a back and forth, or there's going to be some parts of it that are going to be back and forth in the song. As far as the temptation of the song, the way that I wrote it, it's called You Should Go, but it really is an invitation for him to stay, and he finds himself in this position where he's been encountered by this woman who he's already experienced, which is a completely different type of temptation when you had somebody you had a good time with and they're back and they want you, and you can't have them because of your own situation. And so, things like that, like focusing on, like I said, going back and forth with it, temptation. What does temptation sound like? So on this specific song, I actually used my vocals in the support in the background. I identify as myself as a sounder. I'm not necessarily a singer. Okay. Which I've learned. That's how in my studying of just like the evolution of the R&B artist, that's how I've been able to understand the difference between Anita Baker and Whitney Houston. You know what I mean? Like you would never put them in a verses together.
No.
You know what I mean? But they're both powerhouses with two completely different vibes and how they use their gifts, And so, what does temptation sound like? How do you make the listener move, with certain tones? And so like the texture of my sound, I'm a second alto. So I like to try to dig into that, you know what I mean? With, sexy melodies and, kind of R&B it up in the background and things like that. And just put it together in a way to where it feels so bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It feels so good. It's bad.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, always leaving the listener with whatever was in their subconscious about the matter in their front mind, so that when the song goes off, now we're making informed decisions. Now we know what we're doing. Now we know what we shouldn't be doing. So now it's a choice. Are we going to keep doing this or are we going to change?
She's mind mapping with music. You slick. I love it. She said, we're going to take it from your temporal lobe to your frontal lobe.
Woo! Taught me that Devontae Swings from Jodeci, Brian Michael Cox, Darkchild, Sean Garrett, Terry Hilson, T-Pain, like The Dream, they definitely did the psychology behind music and like the things that I learned that I loved about them as a consumer, and actually what they're doing is just mind blowing.
Yeah, I appreciate their skill.
Yes.
I can't sing Mary Had a Little Lamb without getting arrested. And so I don't sing. But I love watching people create the art.
Mm-hmm.
I may not understand everything and how, because I have a crazy story. And this is not my interview, but I need to share this. Because I want to ask you a follow-up question about the wildest song creation moment that you've experienced.
Okay.
I used to be a street teamer long time ago. I owned a street team. We ran the nation, in-store displays and all that good stuff, right? I'm sitting in the studio with Rapid Forte from the Bay and an old R&B singer who people are not happy with right now. I'm not going to say. But we're playing dominoes. And the producer, Deadeye, said something real slick. Forte says, oh, bro, that's a song. And they started making a song in the middle of the domino game. I'm hot. I'm winning. They left me at the table and went into the lab. I'm stuck with dominoes and I can't claim the W because they got up and left. What was your craziest moment?
Wow. Okay, so he's probably gonna kill me, but I'm gonna do this anyway.
Uh-oh.
I love you, JR. I was working with this rapper named JR. He is from New York. I believe he's either from the Bronx or Brooklyn. I always get them mixed up. Anyway, He's out in San Diego, California, and we were in the process of making this mixtape, and I came across this beat produced by Avila, who is an independent producer out in Orlando. Anyway, we were in the process of writing. We were writing and, just like looking for beats and stuff like that, inspiration for this mixtape that we were working on, because I was helping him basically do a self-closure kind of project where he was ending this toxic relationship with this young lady. And, it got really, really, really bad to the point where he was having a hard time moving forward. And this man is a dad, you know what I mean? Full-time dad, baseball dad. So, his schedule is crazy and things like that. And he just wasn't in the place to where he could take care of himself, let alone his kids. So basically, he was having a hard time pulling inspiration on like how he can write without. He was thinking about her hearing this stuff one day. So it was really hard for him to be raw and authentic. So, I took a chance and oh my gosh, like, I know this sounds terrible, but anyway, one day he ended up going back to her and then called me because they broke up again. And this time I actually recorded a part of the conversation. I recorded some of the stuff that he was saying. And there was the part that I recorded was actually perfect. And he was saying, like, you know what, like, I'm done. She has disrespected me to the point where, like, there's no coming back from this. Like, it would literally have to be an act of God for us to be together and blah, 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 all this other stuff. So what I did was I found this sick beat from Avila, and I actually downloaded that and I put it at the beginning of the song as an intro for him to just go crazy. And it was his words. I mean, like, the passion behind what he was saying really fit the beat. Like, it was crazy how it meshed together, and he went crazy. He went crazy because it was to the point where I know that I've invested time into helping him. He's talked to me about all of these other people that he's reaching out to for advice. There's nothing that anybody is saying to you for you to realize how unhealthy this situation is and how important it is for you to let it go. Here's your own words, and it was beautiful the way it worked out.
Now that is dope. That is dope. See, when you have somebody who actually cares about humanity and the people that they work with, you're not just money. This is the kind of results you get. They can help you bring the best out of yourself. With that being said, the creation story, I think that was magnificent.
Thank you.
Are you, with all the songs that you've helped create and the sounds that you've helped create and evolve and polish, can you still get down with music just as a consumer and vibe out, or do you find yourself constantly analyzing at the same time?
Oh my gosh, let me tell you. I don't know how. It is not controlled by me, but I most definitely have a balance between the two. I still enjoy music as a consumer as passionately as I do as a student. Yeah.
You're lucky, because I'm jaded.
Yeah.
I review, like I said, I went to school. Go away. I went to school for music business to talk to executives and interview executives. I understand that. But of course there's theory in there, right? Yes. And I'm going, I don't need to know that this is A and this is B and here's the chorus and here's the refrain. I don't need to break all that down.
Right.
They ruined the experience. Just ruined it. And I paid for it. That's wrong. Sorry. That's wrong. Come on, Biden. I hope you win the Supreme Court case, because, boy, they have that education ruined my experience.
Oh,
I don't want to pay for it no more. I want a refund. Anyway, I just constantly am breaking it down and going, okay, not only was that not a bar, or, could you please next time say that word correctly? I'm mean. And so I tell people, don't send your music to me because I'm gonna tell you like a T.I. is.
Yeah.
And you may or may not be happy. But so the labels don't send me review material. Can you just say that he dropped it? I'm like, okay, no worries. Anyway, I am
No.
but we have fun. We serve our part. I hope that my being a mean person in that regard, because I love music. My mother was a concert pianist. I can't play, but I sat in the halls and listened to magic, grew up loving opera and weird stuff that we don't normally get exposed to.
Yeah.
And, but I was also a military brat, so it was just her and I anyway for a long time.
Excuse me.
She elevated my game and gave me what they call it, culture.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
shout out to Mama.
Yeah, Mom's dope. That was my girl.
Mhm.
And then I went to the Army.
Oh Lord.
Ruined. Oh my goodness. Anyway, what is the most fun for you about what you do as an executive producer, as a mentor, as a mind mapper in the music space? What's the most satisfying for you?
I think the most rewarding part of what I do is seeing the artist evolve while applying the advice that they got from me in a way that they can take all credit for. It is so important. I don't think people really know that like executive producers, like our title is pretty stigmatized. There's quite a few, mainstream executive producers that did their artists dirty, that have made like history with, some of the worst deals and some of the worst music business, relationships that we've seen. And anyway, it's really cool to be able to help artists, identify their weaknesses and find ways to, disguise them a little bit while they're working on them and emphasizing their strengths and, finding ways to do that. And, in ways where they think it's their idea, you know what I'm saying? In ways where they get complete satisfaction in knowing that they can do this and they're not, dependent or reliant on me being in the studio with them, or always having to send their music to me and to see what I think before they think it's good.
See, you told me you were a chemist in the military. I think it was more like an intelligence officer. You playing with folks' emotions and guiding them through things and stuff. But I think it's so brilliant.
Thank you.
I think it's needed. These young people, we already said what we said about, babies raising babies. So for them to know how to get in touch with what's going on inside, how to control that and focus the energy that's derived from those emotions, those experiences, that's a necessary skill. They need it. I was going to call you, Mama Bella earlier, but then somebody from Santeria would probably say, yo, stop taking our culture. And the reason why I was going to say it is because this is nurturing. This is caring. This is opening your heart at a risk to your own mental health, even though, you use your clinical therapist and can recognize what's going on and work things through in step stages and degrees. I understand that you could do that, but there are so many. I don't know how many artists you have. I think, as I'm being nosy and prying into your life, there might have been 15 or 20 somewhere floating around between producers, artists, other creators, songwriters. I stopped counting. I'm like, she got a house full. And so maintaining your sanity? How?
Yeah, well, first and foremost, like I said, my faith. Most definitely my faith. I find that I can be more exhausted or drained mentally and emotionally whenever I stop, whenever I forget that it's not about me. What I mean, it can be really hard sometimes to create with artists when you see their potential and they don't believe it yet, you know? So just, remembering that it's a marathon, it's not a race, and that the best music is generated from relationships, you know? So, definitely that. And then I have an amazing husband that supports and takes care of me in a way where I'm a healer and I have been partnered with the protector. So I can actually focus on this kind of stuff and not have to watch my back and, worry about my man cheating on me or bills not being paid or anything like that. Like, my husband and I, we invest in our marriage and making sure that we protect it so that we can be the best versions of ourselves as individuals. And that's helpful too.
That definitely will make your professional life much easier to deal with.
Yeah.
And he's there knowing that you're not going to come dump on him, but you're going to share and say, look, I just need you for the moment to listen. Or can I just put my head on your shoulder and breathe?
Yes.
Can I, and that enables you to make such an amazing difference in other people's lives. It's a beautiful partnership. And there is work that has to be done inside the home, but when you're respecting someone else's dream and you're watching them put work clothes on their dream and go to this construction site day in and day out, it's okay for you to be there to dust them off. And please, ladies, it's okay for you to allow us to be there.
Yes.
We ain't got to have a bag. You could get the bag.
Come on.
And I could be there humbly washing your feet, wash your hair, I braid your hair, whatever it is you need. I learned how to do your nails just so we can have playtime, intimate time that's not about being physical, just being connected.
It's important.
Yeah.
I mean, you know that you 20 years, you've been locked down for 20 years.
20. I braided, where was I at? I started braiding my wife's hair. We were out somewhere and I think we were going to get into the wading pool or something. I just started braiding. I said, well, let's do this. And she just stood there and people were stopped and looking like we don't see men doing that. I'm like, but I'm not your standard issue.
See, my husband is the business manager for Symphony Music Group. So when we have big projects coming up, especially music video shoots and things like that, we got to cut the budget. He will do he will give me pedicures. He really will be like, okay, babe, look, because we got to put this money here. We got to pay this person. We got to do this. So you're going to have only 2 pedicures this month. I'll do the other 2 for you.
Right. Hey,
and he does a great job.
He makes sure you ain't walking around with gator feet.
Right.
See?
Right. We ain't gonna be raggedy. You're gonna get what you need in a different way.
It's gonna be basic, but it ain't gonna be nothing fancy, but you're gonna be straight.
Right.
You can wear open toes, I promise. I have had so much fun with you. I would like to know, if you were interviewing yourself, what question would you most want to ask Bea, the Beat Messenger?
Oh, I have never been asked this question before. Okay. I would ask Bea Beat Messenger. I would ask her where she sees herself in 5 years.
It's a basic question. That's not even a worthy question of you.
Okay, outside of my career, I think I would ask myself, the last thing that music helped me get out of or overcome?
Thank you.
If it's not a career question, okay.
Thank you.
And I would answer that by saying, I just lost my father about a month ago.
I'm so sorry for your loss.
Thank you. He had a long battle with pancreas cancer that spread. And it was, something, wow. People think that, no, it's okay. No, it's okay. I was just going to say that people think that, when the death is coming, it's not expected and it makes the loss easier. And it definitely doesn't. But I will say that music definitely helped. And when my father left, once he transitioned, the song that really connected with us was the last song that he sang a few days before he passed, was Zoom by the Commodores. And my dad at the time, like, he couldn't really talk or anything like that, but I remember he pointed to his lips and he sang the part where Lionel Richie is saying that
like to fly away.
Where everybody can be what they want to be. And I mean, like, that is what I'm talking about when I say looking for the medicine in the music. The song is absolutely beautiful and it's an open concept. But for me and my dad, we were really able to look at death in a completely different perspective, to where my dad was going somewhere where he could actually be himself unapologetically, be happy. He can actually stretch his wings, and it's kind of hard to be sad when you think about like where he is now versus where he was when he was here in his last 2 years of life. So yeah, I was still able to do this interview and, go on about my business. And, sometimes, yeah, I definitely have moments where I miss him. Like, Father's Day was a little rough this year. But still, I just was able to, by the grace of God, imagine my dad poolside chilling, Thug Paradise style with his friends and, enjoying some well-deserved rest.
This is a beautiful human being, people, who's putting herself out there for others while at the same time navigating her own maze of emotions, life experiences, and yet she still has been blessed with a reserve that she can put forward to help others. That's leadership. That's intestinal fortitude. That is everything that makes our women great. Because they've done it. And we don't have to go back to slavery to explain, because y'all know when the men couldn't be men, they were there. This young lioness just explained and gave us a case study in that strength, that backbone, that reserve that is granted to our women. And yeah, it's a message here.
Message.
That's been granted to our women to help us as a community elevate, to maintain, survive, not beyond survive, but to succeed. Think about the first young Black man in America who made it to a university. I guarantee you it wasn't because of the father. Father was probably out there, from can't see in the morning to need see at night in a field somewhere. And mother is helping this young man with his homework, his exams, darning his clothes and saying, you're going to take us to the next level. I'm going to help you get there if it kills me. I had a mother like that. So I'm speaking,
Yeah.
Sabaya, Baya, Red. Beat message. It's a metaphor there.
Yes, sir.
And the message that she brought today is amazing. I salute you. And
Thank you.
I'm just going to offer it out there. You know, if you have a priority project, reach out.
Thank you so
Give them
much.
some shine.
Okay.
And that's no strings attached, no money attached. You don't have to add me into the budget.
Wow.
We'll just do what we can do.
Thank you so much.
Make it happen. All right. Can't do it for everybody, but if you got a priority, I promise you, and this is my word, till the casket drops, this is my word. I got you on the editorial side. Feel me?
Thank you so much.
No, you blessed us today. Is there anything you wanted to cover that I may have neglected today?
No, I think that we definitely got to the meat and potatoes and even some of the fixings.
Hey, had a couple of Brussels sprouts on there. We had a healthy conversation.
Yes, for sure. And I just
like
really would like to just say how amazing it is. My experience in the military. And I'm sure if anybody, goes back to Google me and learn more about my story, there is press and information out there about my experience with military sexual trauma and how I was, targeted by a male service member who I trusted. And even with that, my experience with the Navy, I love and appreciate how my experience with my brothers in arms has been so great that even that has become very minute. Even being a veteran and you are a part of the entertainment business and extending yourself to be a part of my support system is amazing. And that's how it's been ever since I got out the military and started pursuing, just my entrepreneurship period. It's really been my brothers in arms, that really have been helping me out. Actually, M. Taylor is also a Navy veteran who I had the pleasure of serving with back in 2009, and he put us together. Yes. So I would just say, yeah, I just appreciate, even being a part of the small veteran community in the entertainment industry it's amazing.
Hey, Masons ain't got nothing on us. You heard me? They ain't got nothing on us. When you meet a real one, we don't have to do it in secret. I can't say that because I'm a Mason too. But
okay.
On the military side, it's different. We have all smelled the smoke and got the t-shirt. And when we come home, we understand that the world is not necessarily for us.
Yeah.
They're not necessarily with us. We have to continue serving the person on our left and the person on our right as we were taught, trained, and made it home doing it.
Yeah.
Some people we left behind, but
yes,
we did our best, and she's doing her best. Look, Symphony Music Group is absolutely a blessing to artists. She is serving on another capacity with other service members inside the fabric of the music community. And she's helping others be the best that they can be. You may not be a MC Nice. You may not be a Lecrae. You may not end up as a J. Cole. But if you have someone who's taking you by the hand, saying, I care about the art and your participation in it, I would like to help you present your best side.
Yeah.
You're creating art. You don't have to be a Matisse.
Right.
Be you presenting the best that you can do. And I'm here to help. We're going to make money together.
Period.
But I'm also going to show you that it's not about the money.
Right.
It's about the art and the humanity and the charge that she has been given. As I understand you to have been saying, it's a charge that she's been given by her creator. Yes. And she's executing that. She cannot help but be blessed by being a blessing. And I feel blessed to have met you face to face.
Oh,
we've come beyond the page of a black and white written interview. and I got to meet the human being, and I feel honored.
Thank you.
SymphonyMusicGroup.com.
Yes.
SYMPHONI, not the Y, musicgroup.com. Go check them out. They have some amazing artists. If you're an artist or a label looking for guidance, a situation where you know that you're not going to be abused,
Mm-hmm.
and they're going to tell you the truth, like, no, bro, that ain't it. Let's figure this out together. We're going to make sure that you know, your boots are laced up to the tip top. Feel me?
Right.
And it's hard to find people in this industry like that. And so she's a gem. Please protect her. Please ensure that this line is here, can feed the pride.
Yes.
Until next time.
Thank you so much, Jerry.
Thank you.
Yo, to the Hype Magazine, this is Play from Kid and Play.
This is Kid from Kid and Play.
Christopher Reed, Christopher Martin, Kid and Play.
Let's get hype.
Hype.
As an artist, we should reflect the time.
Why you so talented?
'Cause I'm black.
Why you so amazing?
'Cause I'm black.
It's really important that we build characters so that people understand their story matters.
2 Chainz and I both are just really into good food.
And when you know you are royalty, you will only aim in life to be royalty.
We're doing it right now.
I don't give a damn what they say about me. Yes, I called your ass out. I know I shouldn't be saying this kind of.
Shout out to Hype Magazine Network.
Shout out to the Hype Magazine Network.